Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining us today. Joining us, in fact, in the studio today is someone who's been on the front lines of tech transformation for decades. Tiffani Bova, she is an executive coach, an incredible keynote speaker, Salesforce's former growth and innovation evangelist, and she's author of Wall Street Journal's best-selling Growth IQ and the Experience Mindset. And she's also the host of the wildly popular podcast, What's Next with Tiffani Bova. So Tiffani Bova, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Really much appreciate it and love to have you in the studio.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be back.
Good. So, we have heard now so much about AI. I mean, AI is just everything, right? It's just, you can't have any
panacea.
Right. You can't have any discussion now about anything in business or maybe even in life without bringing up AI. So give us your take on this. And I know it's a very open question there, a very broad question, but where are we in AI? What should business leaders be? How should they be viewing this topic of AI? Is it something that we should be afraid of? We should embrace? Is it here to stay? What's your take on all of that?
We don't have enough time in this show to go through all
Exactly.
of it. But
so we'll just touch on the high points.
We'll touch on the high points, but let me kind of ground this.
Sure.
I mean, I think there's a few things. One, I'm just going to go back to the basics of like spell check.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah, that's where we are.
In the sense that, we've been using technology and typing a word and it autocorrects, or if you're writing an email and it guesses what you're going to say next, has been happening for a long time.
It really, no question.
AI.
Right, that's AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you go to a Google search.
Yeah.
And you start typing and it guesses what you're going to do.
Yep.
AI.
That's right.
So it's been underneath for a while.
Sure.
What has changed though is in GPT coming forward and the consumer starting to absorb it and start to play with it. That's where you start to see that inflection point, right? Businesses having email or doing commerce 25 years ago was a big deal until individuals started using email. And so here we are again.
Right.
Now, I don't want to minimize this. Having been in tech for 30 years now, I can say this is a massive inflection point. We saw it with the internet. We saw it before that in the Industrial Revolution. And here we are again. AI is one of those massive sort of catalysts of changing everything that we do as it relates to business.
Okay.
But I'm not a fan of replacing humans. I am a fan of human and tech.
Okay.
I am a fan of technology replacing humans and things humans don't want to do.
Okay.
If you think about robots in a warehouse, do they want to lift and do that all day, or can we have automation to do that?
Sure.
So I think that there's always a balance. But if you are afraid of it replacing your job, if you will, then I always say lean into how you can get better doing your job using technology so you can protect the human side that technology is not ready to replace.
Very good. Yeah. And I think that business owners, when they hear about AI and they hear about all of the wonderful things that it can bring to the table, their mind immediately goes to less headcount, don't they? Hey, we could have AI make those outgoing calls or handle those incoming calls or write those articles or whatever the case might be, which means we might not need as many people. So it's just a natural thing, right? They go right to, it's going to save us money because we don't need the staff that we need.
And I think that thinking is very fixed mindset, right? It's the way we've always done it. I often say the six most dangerous words in business are, we've always done it that way. It's like, it's the most, right? Because if you've always done it that way, then you're not looking for creativity, right? If you've always done it that way, you're not going to use technology. If we've always done it that way, we're going to run our business on an Excel spreadsheet and life will be good. We all know that doesn't happen. I tell you in my Salesforce days, those high-performing selling organizations that were using CRM or customer relationship management and marketing tools and commerce tools and first rounds of things that are very kind of AI oriented, if you will, they were hiring more salespeople, not less.
Oh, okay.
Because they became more efficient. Pipeline collapsed. deal velocity increased.
Sure.
And so why shouldn't we hire more salespeople, right? Because we can grow the business versus throwing people at a problem, right? And a broken process, which was very much covered in my book, Experience Mindset, right? But if you just keep throwing people at a problem, then headcount keeps going up and you're not getting more efficient and you're actually not growing. But if you are using technology and people are getting more efficient and more productive and you are growing, why not do more of that balance between the two?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying don't look to drive out inefficiency and improve performance, because still, even on a selling organization, on average, they only spend about 30% of their time selling. So how do we give them more time to sell?
That's right.
How do we give marketers more time to market?
That's right.
How do we give customer service agents more time to actually solve more complex problems and let technology take care of the sort of the lower level, mundane, transactional, repetitive things, and let the humans focus on the more complex?
Makes sense.
Now, is there opportunity? If you look at what some of the IBM or Microsoft, even Salesforce and others are saying, we're hiring less in this category and we're hiring more in that category. So maybe we don't need as many coders, or we don't need as many customer service agents.
It's just a shift.
But I
of what
might
you're bringing. Yeah.
I might put them over here. I want more customer-facing people. I want more people in the field. And so I can balance those costs out if I'm more efficient on the back end, so that I can be more customer-facing on the front end. So I think it is a negotiation versus I'm not a fan of it's kind of like cutting costs to growth. Not a good strategy.
Right. Quick way to a stronger bottom line.
Yes.
Just cut out the whole top 10% or the bottom 10%, right?
Right. And so I feel the same way in this case too.
Okay. And for those associates that are with companies that are either skeptical or they're fighting the AI trend, there's those employees out there, I don't need that, or I'm not going to utilize that, or I don't trust it, or I'm better off writing this than having AI write it, or whatever. What do you say to those employees? Is there a place for them in the future if they don't embrace this new technology?
It gets more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is really getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? And I'd also say it's an and play. It is not AI or it is AI and. So if it takes you an hour to get, a brief drafted, and you could use AI to get you started, and now it would take you a half an hour. Yet it was better, and you are really challenging yourself. Like maybe you've written something and you put it into an AI, and then you come back and say, make it shorter or more punchy, or a better call to action, or I want it to not feel so casual, or whatever you're prompting, right?
Sure.
And it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and you're like, wow, it's better.
That's right.
It is like really having your partner. So I always say, like, make it your partner in whatever it is that you're doing.
That's a very good point.
And it's pushing you to be more succinct in what you write, or even improving the way you write and communicate, or your design, or your PowerPoint, or your presentation. Like, load it up there and be like, how could I make this better? Here's my audience. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish. And sometimes in our own head, if we've always done it this way, this is my process.
Yeah.
Those that win in the future are going to be those that use technology better than their competition.
I agree. I agree. We have writers on staff here that at first I think were a little put off by chat, and they were, well, no, I'm a writer. I went to school for this. I've been doing this. I've got years of experience, and they're all great writers, But I think over time they've kind of adapted to it and said, wait a minute, why am I fighting this? I'm writing a really good piece. I put it into chat. To your point, it gives me back an even better piece. You know what I mean? Than I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't want to, and I don't do this yet either, where you just turn it totally over to AI. I think it's still very obvious when that happens. It starts to get very cold and feels very removed. But I think if you do something, now I do it where I'll write something and I'll say, I like it, but how would I make it better? Right? And it'll come back and I'll be like, doesn't sound like me.
Wow.
So could you not do and do, right? And so I've had to get better at prompting so that I don't kind of make it sound so cold. And then I decided to just ingest everything of me. So both my books, all my podcasts.
Oh, that's great.
All my content.
So it knows you. It knows.
Well, so I have my own little fenced off version of me in the digital sense. And so I'd literally say, what would Tiffani say about this topic in a paragraph? And it's, okay. It's getting better and better over time as it gets smarter and smarter. And I also get more comfortable engaging with my sort of digital twin, if you will, right?
Because it is. The whole time it's getting to know you, right? It's getting to know Tiffani Bova in this case. And therein lies the magic of all of this, right?
Yeah, and would I say to it, okay, write me a blog and I don't touch it at all and put it out? I would
Right.
not do that.
No.
I would not do that. Because I still think that, could I someday? Maybe.
Yeah.
I still think I have a standard of, I wouldn't really say it that way, or it doesn't sound like me. Or I don't want people to be like, oh, she's cranking out so much content that it's not even her anymore, or it's AI. And so I think we're not ready for quite all of that yet. But there's been people who have said, I've written an entire book, using AI. They're very clear on sort of being transparent of the fact that AI wrote this. And so now I back into the analyst game, work for a company called Futurum Group, and we're starting to put stuff out that is AI generated because we just can't scale fast enough on some of it. But we're very clear on this was, not ready for prime time. So we're not totally there yet where we're pushing stuff out publicly that is written by AI, but that's where we're headed to really disrupt ourselves and say, how do we push the market forward without losing the integrity and quality and care that we put into our work?
Sure.
But we also can't scale humans. It's a small business. You can't, as you know.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't say, I'm just going to hire another 100 people.
No question about it. There's no question. And I have been, as my partner, who's my wife, we are trying to get the team to be much more adaptive to AI so that we can travel at a faster pace with the size team that we have. And a lot of people have mentioned, they're like, wow, you guys are cranking out content throughout the day. How are you doing this? It's, with a team of only 15 individuals and across 2 different platforms. And in large part, it's because the writers have really adapted to AI. They know how to use it. To your point, they'll run it through and they'll tweak it and they'll say, no, I want it to be more of this, less of that. This fact isn't correct. I think they call it hallucination, right?
Correct.
It starts to hallucinate.
Correct.
So I'm learning more and more about this. But I think as a company, as a small company, now it allows us to compete at a much higher level than we were able to prior to using it.
What if it ingested, the last year of shows and where's their holes?
Yeah.
If it ingested the last year of shows and you literally said, what didn't we cover? What did we cover too much? Like, give me the top 10 topics we covered. We've over pivoted here. We've not covered this.
That's right.
Like a human could not do that.
Especially in seconds.
In seconds, right? So that, even something so much as story arc me, I'm gonna talk to Tiffani Bova. Like, what if you'd gone to? I'm about to interview Tiffani Bova. What should I ask her?
Yeah, scour the internet about Tiffani Bova on her topic. Exactly, and maybe my writer did do that.
Maybe, right? And it's not, and then you would be like, I like these 3, not these 2, or whatever it might be. I do it for my podcast because I'm like, someone's on a road show for their book.
Yeah.
They've been asked the same 10 questions that their publicist has given. I don't want to ask those 10.
Right.
So here's the 10.
Right.
I don't want to ask those.
Right.
Give me 10 more.
That's a great idea.
Right? Like,
it's a great
just
idea.
Give me 10 more. And so I couldn't have done that as a human in the 15 minutes I'm prepping before I,
That's right.
Like, I've been here before, but I'm sure you didn't spend an hour prepping for me. It was probably you read that as you were walking down the hall.
Maybe. That's right.
Right?
That's exactly right.
It's really that sort of help and the ability to give you that. And so really thinking creatively, look, it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like I can get rid of 5 people. But could I make them more efficient? Could I make them more effective? Could I give them a little more passion back into what they do?
Sure.
Could I challenge them so that they feel like I'm doing some cool work?
That's right.
Right? And so I think that there's a ton of hallucination out there still.
Yeah, you got
But
it.
a ton of opportunity. And so individuals should just be like, if I could recraft what I do and I could use technology, AI is just one piece of it. Agentic AI is another piece of it, right? GPT is another piece of it. These are very different things. Agentic is really that. It is learning and starting to actually anticipate and replace and craft without a lot of human intervention. That is very different than what we're talking about. And so we're just at the early stages of that.
Yeah, it's incredible. My wife, who we want to go to Italy, and she said, give me the best hotels to stay at, give me the best restaurants to go to, what sightseeing places do we need to go, what should we do? And here's the budget, and it shot out the entire itinerary, right down to the seats on the plane. I mean, it was just unbelievable. And within seconds.
Right. Now, it might not be perfect, and the restaurant it chose might be closed. And,
But you're
that's the point.
90% there.
But that's the point,
Yeah.
right? You need the human on the last mile.
Sure.
Now the last mile may be 50%, 40%, 30%, whatever,
Sure.
but you need the human in there. And so let's just say that that was a travel agent using that,
Yeah.
right? And is asking all the questions of the
right.
clients,
That's right.
capturing that information, and then writes the prompts and asks the questions.
Sure.
Right? I have someone who has allergies, or I have someone who needs access at a hotel for, from a handicap perspective, or whatever it might be.
Whatever, yeah.
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
like you have to be able to feed that, but your expertise is, I don't want to fly them through this way, I want to fly them through that way, and then I take that expertise, use AI, and now I can serve 50 clients in a week versus 5.
Sure. Is this the most exciting trend out there right now, or is there anything else that you're coming in contact with, or that you know of that you like AI? Wait till you see these technologies.
I think there's so much to it. I mean, even like what I was just saying, so I do a quick 5-minute video and then I want it in 10 languages.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then it is actually me,
Yeah.
and my mouth is moving, but I am speaking a language I do not speak, right? And so it'll get better and better and better.
Sure.
That makes me nervous in the fake of it. What we've seen out there of people saying so and so said something and it wasn't really them.
It's changing the political
that's the danger
landscape,
of it. Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're looking at things now online and social media, and like, I can't believe either Trump said that or this one said that or whatever the case might be. And it's like they didn't say it.
Right.
So
right.
It's
so there's
kinda
that,
scary,
right?
Yeah.
But I do think that I'm super excited to see the next wave of startups.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
using AI to do something differently, not another AI startup, right? But using the technology, and again, it's not just artificial intelligence.
Right.
It's such a flywheel of what you can do with that, because artificial intelligence has been around. Like I said, spell check and Google search and all of that. It has been around. People just didn't know what it was called, and they just expected that it was going to do these things, but they didn't know technically how it was actually happening, when in reality, this has been happening for a long time. Of
course.
Now it's just been surfaced to more consumer, like your travel example.
That's right.
It's been surfaced to more consumer use cases, and you have access to it.
Yep.
Where the Google search, you didn't have access to what was driving that.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So now that it's become more transparent, and that layer has bubbled up to us as consumers being able to use it, the possibilities are endless.
Of course. Yeah.
And so where and how can you use it in your business?
Yeah, this stuff is so exciting, and it's great to be living and being in business during these times to see this evolution, right? It really is.
Yeah, I wonder what the next, like if you think you have a child or grandchild, that is a kindergartner or first grader, what will their adult life be like, right? What will their education be like? What will their college be like? What will their first job be like? Like, I'm glad I won't be retired by then, but
we know they won't be driving their own car by then. Right? I mean, with all
or they're flying. You could be
Yeah.
I do something on my podcast called Bullish and Bearish. So I ask people questions. Are you bullish? Are you for it?
Yeah.
Bearish? Are you against it? So I'll do flying taxis, bullish or bearish, or traveling, having your board meeting in space, bullish or bearish. It's fun questions.
Sure,
Nothing
of course, of
too
course.
crazy, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting how people's eyes will light up and then not. I hope that doesn't happen, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And so I think we're all excited about it, and then we're like, I don't know if I want flying taxis.
I don't know.
The freeway is already scary enough, right?
That's exactly right. So tell us about your podcast. For those people that want to tune in and listen to your podcast, what are they going to take away?
So I started it 10 years ago before everybody had a podcast.
I was going to say, that was before podcasts were cool, right?
And I did it selfishly because I have this wonderful, blessed opportunity to travel the world and have great conversations with some amazing human beings. I get to share the stage with them and
That's great.
and do business with them. And I would have these kind of green room conversations, and I'd be like, I wish I'd recorded that for my own selfish reasons. That was so.
Yeah.
What did they say, or what did he say, or what did she say? Darn it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to start a podcast, because then I can record it and have it
that's
not be
great.
creepy. Can I record this conversation?
It's legitimate. Right.
It's a podcast.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it selfishly started.
Yep.
I wanted to record it. And now it's just become a whole lot of fun, right?
great.
I'm 10 years in.
Yeah.
500 or 600 shows. I don't know how many
say,
it is. Yeah, it's been a lot. It's every other week.
Okay.
I run a replay on the odd weeks.
Okay.
But it's anyone from CEOs to athletes
awesome.
to coaches
Yeah.
to. I try not to get people that are just in technology or just in,
Sure.
what I do for a living, rather than, it's people who write interesting books about, topics that I find fascinating.
Yeah.
Or they're a leader who's overcome something, or it's a startup that's done some amazing things.
Perfect name. What's next?
Yeah, and I had the guy who created the
What? Really?
and that's his new book, But the whole thing that went into it,
yeah.
why is there no dislike?
Yeah.
It was a whole conversation about why there is no dislikes.
Unreal. Okay. I got to tune into that one.
So, that kind of, things that were, kind of pop culture business collide.
Of course.
A lot of fun.
We're putting all the information on the screen right now. I highly recommend that you check it out. What's Next with Tiffani Bova. So Tiffani Bova, executive advisor, keynote speaker, author, Salesforce, former growth and innovation evangelist. You've been all over the place. I mean, you've got, your career is just incredible. So.
Yeah, and now chief of research and strategy for Futurum Group. It's been fun. Like I have been very blessed to have gotten hooked on. I'm not a technologist, but I can sell, and so I sold technology, and that just kind of led me to where I am. And
that's great.
It's been such a fun ride. I've been so blessed.
Well, I know that you've touched a lot of people's lives and helped them, helped a lot of corporate executives work through all of this. So thank you so much, and I know that our viewers get a lot out of your visit. So thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.